And with that, I would go straight to Portugal. And it is my great honor to invite Joao Nabais to this stage. Joao, can you hear me? There he is. Joao, you have been a vice president of IDF Europe a couple of years ago. You are a member of the Portuguese Diabetes Association, which is, I think, the oldest diabetes association in all of Europe, one of the founding members. When you hear Elizabeth presenting, when you hear what they're doing for this resolution, maybe you can comment on that, but then also answer the main question we have for today, for this Doc Day. What about World Diabetes Day in Portugal? How is it being celebrated? What is happening where you are close to Lisbon?
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to all of you. In fact, the EPDP, the Portuguese Diabetes Association, is the oldest association in the world. It was founded in 2096, so more than 85 years ago. And then the message from the Roberta Mazzoli is quite powerful, indeed, because these type of resolutions are powerful tools when approaching the politicians at our own national parliaments, because it's coming from the European Parliament. I was involved in the previous declaration, and then it was the same procedure. It was a powerful tool when approaching local governments. And what Roberta said, it was clearly important. We don't have any time to lose now. We need to call to action is needed. It was needed, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, of course, but we are living in a time that we don't really have time to lose any longer. Again, as you said, if any of you that are listening, if you have any contacts on the MEP, the contacts are easy to spot on the website. The MEPs do like when they receive emails on their own language. Most of the times they do open emails that you receive from the national constituency. So sending an email in your own language will make an impact, I'm sure. Well, when it comes to Portugal, a lot of celebration now in all countries. In Portugal, we have a slightly different situation rather than in Germany, because in Portugal we have EPDP, the Portuguese Diabetes Association, which does not have branches all over the place in Portugal. So we have small local organizations that do their own celebrations. But we are focusing now on access to technology in Portugal. There is a petition going on in Portugal in order to call an action from the the Portuguese Parliament to give access to technology in Portugal. So that should be the main focus of the EPDP campaign this year. We are having today a debate on the Lisbon City Hall about healthy places. And that debate will, of course, get together politicians, policymakers, and we are putting diabetes high on the agenda. Of course, that we are focusing also on education this year, because it's a team that is coming from the International Diabetes Federation itself. And also what I'm seeing more in Portugal, to be honest, this year, is celebrations that do involve runs or walks, or something like that. I think this year we are having more than in the past years, if I may say so.
Yeah, and what I like about Portugal and the way your organization is set up, you just said it is more centrally organized, the organization as such, but it leads to this diabetes awareness on the local level really being something like a grassroots movement. There's more smaller initiatives all over the country. And I've had the honor to look at those quite closely 2-3 years back. It's quite amazing how then individuals take things into their own hands. And we see this happening all over the place. But in Portugal, there seems to be a very strong movement behind us that is maybe pushed by ADPD, but it's also coming from down below.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's from the different angles, indeed, because it was linked with the past and how the association developed in Portugal. And as you said, the grassroots are all over the country. So we have associations from the south to the north, east to the west. And again, they are doing their own local celebrations, which are great, because in a way they are contacting the mayors of the city, which at the end of the day, it has a great impact on people's lives. Because if you want to have in your city an healthy place, a place for instance for a walk or for a run, you need to approach the city mayor. So it's one way to go, and they see it. I think it had an impact, and it's having an impact in local communities, definitely.
So what I like about this example is that it shows that there's this saying, think global, act local. And this is really something I see happening in Portugal quite well. There is this, well, not global, but national scheme coming. There's IDF Europe, but then there's your organization putting a very strong emphasis on, as you said this year, access to technology, access to education. But then the action is really happening very, very locally on the ground.
Even because education here in Portugal are not reimbursed yet, so people are doing therapeutic education at hospitals, local healthcare centers, EPDPs. Of course, it's a medical center par excellence for diabetes, but the education not reimbursed yet at the hospital level, for instance. So people don't have the time to fully have a proper education for diabetes in the consultations, because the time is very limited, of course. So it's still a problem in that angle.
Yeah. And Joao, moving from today's event, World Diabetes Day, and those two core topics into next year, what do you think will be the two main, or the one main topic maybe for 2023 that you, your organization, people living with diabetes will call for, will advocate for in Portugal?
Mm-hmm. Well, the next year, we are entering a very difficult period all over Europe, all over the world, because the inflation is what it is, and because our life in the country is not in making any easier in a way. So I think the access to proper care, access to proper diabetes care would be a major topic in the future, because people would have more difficulty in traveling to healthcare centers maybe. So I would say the access to diabetes care of quality, I think, would be high on the agenda for the years to come. And we need to, in Portugal, I think we never accomplished tasks that were in our minds for the last 10 years or so, which is to set up in our parliament a diabetes discussion group, like you have in the European Parliament, like we have in other countries. So in the past we tried more than once, but we never accomplished that task. So I am hoping that in the years to come, let's say next year and the year after, we manage to set up, because it makes a difference, it makes an impact. Because if you have an internal discussion group in the parliament, like we have in the European Parliament, you raise your voice and you spread the word on diabetes at municipal levels, and you can approach in the easier way the parliamentarians.
Yeah. No, I can fully relate and fully agree. So hopefully by next year, World Diabetes Day, we can see you here again and hear whether you've managed to set up that discussion group, and whether the discussions around access to care, to technology, to education have moved any further. Joao, thank you very much. We'll continue to move on and see, because I think the topic of access we will see reflected in all the answers we will be hearing today. There's many other people joining us from different countries, and I look forward to hearing what they have to say from their countries. For now, thank you very much, Joao, joining us live from Portugal on behalf of the oldest diabetes association in the world.
And to end up, and well, this week, Thursday and Friday, it will be the Diabetes Congress, EPD Diabetes Congress, and I will do the blue challenge in my lecture, and I will film it and I will put it on social media.
Then you should tell us again, because you know that half of the world in diabetes advocacy is coming to your country and to your city, to Lisbon, in the first week of December, because that's where the World Diabetes Congress of IDF Global is taking place. So you are very much in the center of attention right now. Joao, see you in Lisbon.